In 2024, the business of global security didn't just grow, it shattered every existing ceiling. U.S. foreign military sales, FMS, hit a record-breaking $117.9 billion, a staggering 45.7% increase from previous years. When you combine that with direct commercial sales, DCS, privately contracted deals between foreign nations and American companies, the total value of authorized U.S. arms exports topped $318.7 billion in a single fiscal year. This is the shadow economy of the defense world. It is the invisible force that keeps American factories running, even when the Pentagon's own domestic budgets face political headwinds. As of early 2026, the U.S. has maintained a three-year rolling average of $83.6 billion in annual foreign military transfers. But this isn't just about moving boxes of hardware across borders. It's about a massive high-tech customization engine that ensures a single assembly line can arm the entire world. From the sands of the Middle East to the borderlands of Eastern Europe, the world is buying American. But how do you build one aircraft that meets the highly classified requirements of dozens of different nations? To find out, we have to look at the mile-long factory in Fort Worth, Texas. The F-35 Global Assembly Line, a mile of stealth. The F-35 Lightning II is the crown jewel of the shadow economy. It is the most exported stealth fighter in history, with over 15 partner and FMS nations currently on the books, including recent additions like Romania, Greece, and the Czech Republic. But if you think every F-35 is a carbon copy, you are mistaken. A Lockheed Martin's Fort Worth facility uses a sophisticated float-attacked assembly method. This allows them to build planes for Israel, Poland, and Singapore on the same line, simultaneously, while tailoring each one to a nation's sovereign requirements. Electronic warfare, EW suites. The Israeli F-35I Adir, the mighty one, is the most famous example. Israel is the only nation permitted to integrate its own indigenous software and command and control hardware. This includes a unique overlay of Israeli-made EW systems from Elbit systems that can be updated independently of the U.S. threat library. The drag chute. Nations like Norway and Canada require a specialized drag chute pod housed on the upper fuselage. This pod allows the plane to safely land on short, icy runways, a feature the U.S. Air Force, which operates primarily on long, dry concrete, doesn't use. Weapon integration. While the bus, the airframe, is standard, the brain is programmed to recognize specific local munitions, such as the Norwegian Joint Strike Missile, JSM, or Israeli-made penetration bombs. This customization is the shadow economy's greatest trick. By building a common airframe but allowing nations to plug in their own secrets, the U.S. ensures that dozens of different air forces are all tethered to the same American supply chain for the next 50 years. The 2026 shift, America First, arms transfers. As of February 2026, the rules of this shadow economy have shifted. A new America First arms transfer strategy has been implemented by executive order to turn these foreign sales into a deliberate industrial weapon. And the goal is to use foreign capital to solve American industrial problems. Eliminating the backlog. The U.S. is prioritizing sales to partners who invest in their own defense, using that foreign money to expand domestic factories that the U.S. military also relies on. Economic security. For the first time, arms deals are being tied directly to U.S. manufacturing jobs. If a nation wants the latest interceptors, they might be required to fund a new production line in the American Midwest. The acquisition transformation. By streamlining the FMS process, the Pentagon is trying to cut the time it takes to approve a deal from years to months, aiming to outcompete cheaper, faster alternatives from adversaries like China and Russia. F-35s versus the modern smartphone. Building a customized F-35 for 15 different countries sounds like a logistical nightmare, but it is actually the same logic used by the global smartphone industry, specifically the iPhone ecosystem. To dominate the global market, a tech giant doesn't design a completely different phone for every country. They build a universal platform and allow for local configuration. The global chassis. Every iPhone uses the same core processor and screen technology, much like every F-35 uses the same F-135 engine and wing structure. This allows for massive economies of scale that keep prices relatively down. Software overlays. Just as an iPhone in Japan comes with a mandatory shutter sound for the camera and local payment apps, the Israeli F-35I comes with an Israeli software overlay for its electronic warfare. The core OS is the same, but the apps are local. Ecosystem lock-in. Once a country buys into the F-35, the hardware, they are locked into the American App Store of parts, munitions, and software updates. You cannot put a non-approved Russian missile on an F-35 any more than you can easily run Android apps on an iPhone. Automatic syncing. Because all these nations are on the same platform, they can sync during a conflict. A Polish F-35 can seamlessly share data with a German F-35, ensuring that the entire network of allies works as a single unified machine. Whether it's millions of units shipped or billions in exports, the goal is global interoperability through platform dominance. The $70 billion handshake, the arms deal shadow economy, is the fuel in the engine of the American industrial base. Without that $117.9 billion in foreign sales, the cost of an F-35 for the U.S. Air Force would skyrocket because the U.S. would have to foot 100% of the R&D and factory overhead. By arming the world, the U.S. makes its own defense more affordable. In 2026, as the world becomes more unstable, from the Operation Midnight Hammer in the Middle East to the drones being intercepted over Poland, the shadow economy is no longer just a side business. It is the front line of American foreign policy. Do you think selling the world's most advanced tech to dozens of countries is a brilliant economic move? Or are we creating a global arsenal that could one day be turned against us? Is the smartphone model of warfare the future? Or does it give too much control to a single software provider? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to see the industrial secrets behind the 155mm munitions surge or the Space Force expansion, hit like and subscribe for our next deep dive into the machines that govern the world.